The West Virginia Mountaineers do have some more portal entries coming in, and we've got one visiting in March. We've got to talk about a national champion defensive back that West Virginia is trying to flip from another Division I program.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Guys, welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and I am your host here. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking Mountaineer football again tonight. And thank you guys so much for being here. A little Paul After Dark. Not here alone. We'll get to there in a second, though. This one's going to be brought to you by our friends from Mazda. And right now on Mazda, guys, when it comes to the Mazda app, all you have to do is, like our players, we're driven by the details. Because we know highlights make the reel, and what it takes to get there makes it count. There's more to Mazda because there's more to you. I'm not alone, obviously. To react to this news with me, I have the indomitable, the amazing Jackson Johnson. What's up, my dude?
How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Doing good, brother. So let's
that
react.
Mazda, I'll tell you what, that's perfect gift for the little lady on Valentine's Day.
oh, an entire car? I'd say so.
Oh, yeah. And it's a good one for the dudes as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so obviously West Virginia is trying to figure out the rest of its roster, and it's definitely light in some areas. And you enter this guy here, a guy that I've watched an extensive amount of tape on today. You know, Tim Roberson is the name. And, you know, I'd seen the other day that he would potentially be coming in and wasn't sure about the day or the time or anything like that. And then, you know, had kind of just went on to other things because I hadn't heard any more news. Found out earlier from him, he'll be visiting in March. So this is something that is still about another month away, and there's really no hurry, right? I mean, at the end of the day, at this point, he's not going to be here for winter workouts. So why, you know, and I'm sure the JUCO season is probably a little different than what's going on. And I'm sure there's reasons for why it's in March is what I'm trying to say. But, you know, the normal, I think, common sense here would say that if you're adding a player this late, that they may not be a starter or somebody that can come in and play for playing time, right? That's actually not the case here. This is a guy that could absolutely come in and get into the rotation. Looking at the tape, I think there's a couple of things that stand out for me. Number one, speed. When you look at this guy, he's got a ton of speed. He's 6 feet, 185, 4.4 verified speed. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. He knows what it looks like, Jackson. He's a national champion at the National Junior College Athletic Association level. Currently is committed to Liberty, which is a really good G5 program. But West Virginia has to be trending, right? Because why would he be coming to West Virginia? You would have to think if that offer's there, West Virginia would have to be the front runner. But let's talk about output here for him. 36 tackles, 6 interceptions, 1 pick six, 8 pass breakups, and played in an elite defense for Iowa Western on a national title defense. And he lived in high leverage situations around the football quite a bit. And those numbers don't come from hiding in cover 3, Jackson. Those numbers come from attacking the football and being an aggressive.
Yeah, I watched a few plays of him earlier tonight before we got on the show, and I'm just going to be honest, that dude knows how to bring out a genjutsu.
Let's check out a little tape on Tim here, man. You know, I picked out a couple plays here towards about midway through his tape. Here's a great one where he high points the ball, picks it off versus Hutchinson, which we know all about, right? Which, you know, we have 2 or 3 players coming in from Hutchinson. So, you know, the top two JUCO programs in the country, West Virginia getting players from them. I don't see anything wrong with that. There he is making a tackle on the defender. There he is breaking up a pass, and you just see different things. Like he's physical. He's got good size. He's, you know, is he 6'3" like some of the other guys are bringing in? No, not necessarily, but he plays the slot. You don't have to be 6'3" in the slot. And here you see that speed on display, which is a really great job by him. Love the high five as they're coming down the field. Pretty cool to see there too. And then you start to look on, he is involved with the football a lot. And here he is. I think this might be the same play. No, it's a different play. So there's another pick six, and this dude stays around the football, Jackson. He makes play after play. He bobbled this one, but he eventually got it. What are your thoughts about, when you're adding a guy late like this? I mean, like I said, conventional wisdom says, okay, they're probably going to be a special teams guy, or they might be a, small time contributor. Do you think this is a guy for West Virginia to get on the field? Great hustle.
3 words. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. You should totally get this guy onto the roster for 2026. Strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah. I think my questions, if I could interview Tim, would be, hey, and if you're watching this still, Tim, you said you were going to watch. My question would be, why are you waiting? Why is it so late in the process? Everybody has their own story. There's no judgment, but I'm just curious, why so late in the process for you to make a decision? Have you just decided to, to take your time? Were people catching on to you later? Like, there are always reasons behind it. I'd be curious to know what Tim's response to that would be. A couple other things I have on him, by the way. When you watch him on tape, he does a really good job at anticipating route concepts. Whenever you're watching him, he does a good job of reading quarterback's eyes from the slot. He's really good at jumping routes. He jumps underneath throws really well. And he really doesn't panic in traffic like you saw in a couple of those interceptions. He's off to the races. And slot DBs have to think fast. The difference between playing in the slot and playing outside is night and day. It's not even close to the same world. The slot has a lot of different responsibilities. Outside is literally, 3 or 4 things. Like, am I press man? Am I dropping? Am I in cover 3? Like, there's just not very much. I think he's got some natural hands, even though he bobbled the one. He's got some pretty good hands. He tracks the ball well. We saw him that deep throw where he was able to high point the ball and intercept it in the end zone. 6 interceptions is a lot, right? So he's comfortable finishing interceptions. And the pick 6 wasn't really luck. That was all because of anticipation. Turnovers translate. I think that's one of the things that I can agree on is that turnovers do translate when you look at moving to another level. A couple other things is in run support, he's a willing tackler. He attacks downhill really well. He uses the proper leverage angles, and he's really not afraid to get dirty inside. He is, what I like to call a great go-between as far as in coverage and being a bit of a thumper as well. So, he's got versatility as like a true nickel defender. This is the true nickel. By what I mean is he's actually got some coverage to him. You see the nickels that are coming in these days that are basically linebackers that can cover a few positions. This is a guy that can cover all the positions at nickel. So he can survive outside in a pinch if you really need him to. And he matches up well with slots, tight ends, and bigger wide receivers. And it's really good to have a guy like this in the modern defense. So I think it lines up and makes sense for West Virginia because you can have some speed and sub packages. He's got turnover production, like we already said. And slot defenders, man, they can play football, right? A lot of times slot defenders are football players. And you look at especially like in the nickel heavy looks, or if you're in quarters or match concepts, or anything where you need an aggressive defensive back, this is exactly the kind of a portal evaluation you would expect West Virginia to be making, especially late in the process. So I feel good about this one. I actually like it a lot. There's a reason he's committed to Liberty, who was a higher end Group of 5 program. It's not a huge stretch to think that he could come into West Virginia. And even if he doesn't start the first year, work his way into the rotation in year 1, and then by next year be a big contributor. I don't think that's a lot to ask. And I think if you told Tim that's how it would go, he'd probably be happy to see that. Although some guys' playing time is a big deal. So maybe that'll be the reason he chooses Liberty. Maybe there's a better path to, direct playing time. But West Virginia doesn't. They need safety help. Like, that's the legit thing. Like, West Virginia's in a spot where they need some safety help. So hopefully Tim makes a good decision here for himself, and hopefully West Virginia gets a good player, because I do like him on tape. I don't think he's the kind of guy you're going to bring in, Jackson, that you're not never going to hear from again, right? Like, there are guys that West Virginia might bring in late in the process that you're never going to hear from again. I don't think this guy would be one of them. I think he would contribute somewhere.
Oh, yeah. He's got a future full of silver coins, not just for himself, but for West Virginia as well, if he does commit for 2026 and 2027.
Agreed. All right, let's go to break really quick. We'll come back, and we're going to evaluate a couple of things. When we look at some basketball, we talk about the Cincinnati game a little bit. Jackson says it's a bubble watch game. I think maybe it will be as well, obviously. I mean, it's not even maybe. It's definitely. And we're going to look at another position room tonight and see if West Virginia is healthy or unhealthy there. Thank you, Tim, for allowing me to talk about you, brother, and good luck to your visit to West Virginia in March, guys. We will see you right after the break, right here on Locked On West Virginia. Stick around. And, of course, we can't go any further without talking about our friends at FanDuel. Right now with FanDuel, guys, if you didn't know, now you know. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One last Sunday, one final kickoff, the final chance to get on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing your favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. This is where production turns into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's the perfect way to cap off the season and make sure everybody going to the Super Bowl is even more excited from the kickoff to the final whistle. If you're a new customer, you can bet $5 and it'll make you come holla, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets. That's if you win that first $5 bet. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com, where you too, like Jackson, can get started. In segment 2, I crack a do to you, Jackson Johnson. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
Well, they can find me tomorrow night on Alabama The Voice College Football, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for the 75th edition of Alabama Crimson Tide Live, where we discuss how there could be a QB logjam for 2027 and beyond, as there is a possibility or a likelihood of Elijah Haven, the number one quarterback of 2027, committing to Alabama. Plus, I'll be joined by Cole Thompson of SEC Unfiltered on SEC Live on SEC at the Voice College Football, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm previewing Super Bowl 60 on my channel, my show, The Jack Sony, for episodes 97 and 98, with a former colleague and good friend of the Locked On Network, Mike Debate, for Patriots on SI, discussing the New England Patriots. And I'll be joined by Mookie Alexander of SB Nation for the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow, man. And don't forget about Jackson's sporadic episodes right here in Jackson's World of College Football on Locked On West Virginia.
And it's only 215 days until September 5th, 2026, for not only for the Alabama Crimson Tide. As Paul says, I always like for people to roll damn Tide, but Mountaineer Paul and I would like for you to know to cue those country roads.
Yeah, you can't forget to cue those country roads.
Especially for a magnificent turnaround for 2026.
I still kept this picture because we play Virginia, and I'm just praying that Eli Holstein is the quarterback. Virginia picked up Holstein in the portal, and my favorite image of all time has to be this picture of him with his bloodied nose, with Zach Alley pointing at it, laughing. So I'm just gonna. All I'm gonna do if that happens, I'm just gonna put him in a Virginia pullover, and that's gonna be my thumbnail for that game when we play Virginia. But all right, so let's talk position room first, and then we'll go to the basketball thing in the third segment, Jackson. You know, obviously we have looked at now at this point, we looked at the wide receiver room earlier. We looked at the defensive ends and edge players earlier the other day. So that leaves us with quarterback room, which we've talked about a lot, running back room, which we just did a show on. So we're kind of, you know, tight end room. We've done a lot on the offensive line room, although we haven't done a deep dive into it. We've only talked about the portal guys and Kevin Brown. You know, there's the defensive line room, I guess, outside of your edge players, but we've talked about those guys too a lot. So there's linebackers, there's corners, and there's safeties. I'll tell you what, we might just cover a couple of them here really quick because there's not as many players in these rooms. Let's start with the linebacker room, Jackson. You bring in four guys, you know, you bring it, well, three guys this year, I think, and then four guys overall. If you consider Ashton Woods is still here from last year. Malachi Hood, good athlete. I wouldn't say elite athlete, but a very good athlete, like in the realm of like a Trey Lathan, right? Not quite Trey Lathan, I don't think. Maybe a step below Trey Lathan as an athlete. Really good, though. He can run. You've got Tyler Stolsky, a guy that is your throwback. He's literally got the neck roll and everything, like one of those inside the box linebackers that just can mollywop somebody, but you don't want him running sideline to sideline. He's not the kind of guy that's going to run down a guy, you know, at least from very far behind that I saw on tape. I would love to be wrong about that. Isaiah Patterson, who, let's just be honest, played a lot at UNLV last year as a freshman, but he didn't start. He wasn't a starter for them. You know, but he had great production. He had like 40, 50 tackles or whatever. So that's great. And then you've got, you know, Ashton Woods, who you've got to have back, obviously, and are lucky to have back, who was really good as a redshirt freshman last year from North Carolina at times. And if he can really get into the weight room and bulk up some, he's got a chance to be, in my opinion, your best linebacker this year. I think he can run. He's really good in a lot of scenarios, and I really like Ashton Woods. Ben Cutter is your other senior with Stolsky and Hood that you like, but he is also, you know, more of an inside the box kind of guy. I don't think he can run quite as well as like last year either. There, you know, I think there's a reason that both starting linebackers we had last year played over him were because they had a little more athleticism to their game. So I think, you know, he's a good player. He really played well towards the end of the year last year, though. Ben Cutter could really be in for a big year. Like there's a lot of people that think he could be. Then we get to my two guys that I think are major, major wild cards. So Cam Torber is somebody that I am just elated that we still have, because I think he was my second or third favorite pickup from last year's portal class. He's a guy that can really, really run. And I'll probably detail these guys on tape again at some point this offseason, because I do think Torber's a guy that can come in and be like what Patterson was for UNLV last year. Come in and get you 40 or 50 tackles. I really do. And then you look at Cam Dwyer, who's a freshman in this class, and I like him like I did Torber last year. Like they're very similar type players, long and lanky. Dwyer's going to have to add some weight, so I don't know that he'll be able to make a big difference. But, you know, that's a veteran portal core with the young athletes underneath Jackson. You know, West Virginia you watched a lot of West Virginia games last year because you come on the show.
Yeah.
You know, it was an interesting year on defense for West Virginia because decent against the run, but man, the linebackers struggled to cover, and so did the DBs. And at times, that West Virginia defense looked like Swiss cheese last year, Jackson.
Looked disastrous.
Yeah, and you brought Zach Alley over to be the guy, you know. So, in a perfect world, what do you think is realistic expectations for this West Virginia defense coming up this year?
I think the realistic expectations are to at least finish in the top 40, but be top 5 in the Big 12.
Yeah, I like that. I think top 40 would be amazing if you could do that. God, I mean, that would be a dream come true if you could finish top 40. Another thing that would be cool is, I mean, and to be honest, there is a realistic chance that 5 Big 12 teams could be in the top 40 because Texas Tech is going to be a top 40 defense. BYU is going to be a top 40 defense. Arizona State will probably be close. If Utah can stay what they always are, they'll be top 40. You know, and then the odds of like another team potentially doing it are pretty high as well. Why not West Virginia? I would take top 40. But yeah, so I do think the linebacker room it's not broken and it's not horrible, but it's not elite and it's not great. The only way it could be elite and great is if Ashton Woods is going to have a monster year, like 80, 90 tackles. Patterson's going to have to speed up his process and become really good, really fast. And then I think Torber would have to be a major contributor as well. If you can get that, then you got a chance for the room to be way better than you thought. But I don't know that that's going to be the case, like I said, because it's West Virginia. Things haven't gone our way in a while. Now let's look at safeties, because I think this is an interesting room really quick, Jackson. When you're looking at the safety room this year, you got Kamari Wilson coming in from the portal from Memphis, who started his career at Florida, who's a senior. And this guy is a strong safety type. You know, he's not a guy that you want to get stuck in coverage situations, at least in my opinion. You know, but certainly one of the more productive guys coming in from Memphis. You've got Damari Williams coming in from JUCO. You've got Jacob Bradford coming in from LSU. And I want to stop for a moment on Bradford because, you know, he's a guy that they were looking to make an impact this coming year at LSU as a redshirt freshman, and you got him. He's very inexperienced. And so there's going to be that inexperience factor for him back there. That's why I think the addition of Powdrell, Malik Hawkins, who can play corner, will play corner most likely. You got, you know, some other guys. But I'm really interested to see what ends up being the safety room. Chams, Diagne, could be back there. Nick Taylor will be back there. So there's a few names, but I mean, Powdrell's probably going to be a corner. I don't know why I've got him in the safeties here. Malik Hawkins is probably going to be a corner as well, but all these guys can play safety too. You need somebody opposite Bradford to really step up with Wilson because you play 3 safeties, right? So that's why West Virginia's in the portal looking for another one, because I don't know that West Virginia has 3 safeties that you trust right now. I don't know that you do. I mean, I think you got 2 corners, but do you have 4? I don't know about that either. So, it's an interesting room. Like the JUCO guys, Rayshawn Reynolds, and Damon Allen, I think from what I understand, West Virginia believes are going to be major contributors. So if that's the case, then you feel pretty good at corner. If that's what they're going to be. Because, see, I don't know what they're going to make everybody. Like Rayshawn Reynolds and Damon Allen are corners at JUCO, but they might be safeties at West Virginia. They're both 6'3". I mean, does Zach Alley bring them in to be safeties, big safeties, or do they bring them in big corners? Chams Diagne is 6'3" as well. So one thing they definitely wanted was length and size, Jackson, for the safety and corner rooms. So I like your projection for potential top 40 defense for West Virginia. Let me just go on record and say this. If West Virginia has a top 40 defense, this will be a team that wins 9 games, potentially more. Like, our offense is something I'm pretty confident is going to be a lot better this year, like probably top 50, but I don't know about the defense yet. So we'll go to break really quick and we'll talk about what you were mentioning there earlier, with the basketball. So let's go to break really quick and we'll put the football on hold for a minute and we'll talk a little bit of basketball with Jackson Johnson right after the break.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. The WNBA has released its 2026 schedule featuring a 44-game regular season beginning on Friday, May 8th. The league's historic 30th season includes expansion teams Portland Fire and the Toronto Tempo, with opening weekend highlights such as Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever hosting Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings, and a rematch of the 2025 finals between the Aces and the Mercury. In college hoops, South Carolina handed Vanderbilt its first loss of the season with a dominant 103-74 win. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts the same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment. Putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Yeah. All right, guys, and we're back here. As the new DBs will chew up quarterbacks like a chicken nugget, says your boy Coop. So, Jackson, you might as well say it for him. What's the new DB's going to do?
He's gonna chip the quarterback and the running backs like chicken nuggets.
Oh God. Oh, it's crazy.
He's a junior dog, is what he is, man.
Yeah.
Roberson is a junior dog heading into 2026.
Yeah, I agree, man. I absolutely agree. Yeah, if like what you were saying earlier about West Virginia and Cincinnati basketball.
Oh yeah,
it does feel like a bubble situation. Although both teams are obviously Cincinnati's like way off the bubble. They're not even.
Yeah, it's like a last chance game for Cincinnati to basically have a winning streak. Yeah.
Well, a month ago, West Virginia beat Cincinnati 62-60 at home.
Yep.
And Honor Hups hit 6 threes in that game, right? So the odds of West Virginia, I mean, it's kind of scary, really. I mean, when you think about it, dude. Like,
yeah.
I don't know that West Virginia can go on the road and beat this team that they barely beat by 2 points.
It's bad.
You know, I mean, it could be if you look at the game, it is all bad.
It looks like a trap game because especially when you got next Sunday, you got Texas Tech coming to your backyard on Fox at noon Eastern time.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. Like, you know, this game is a must win with a capital M. Like, you can't lose it. There's just no way. Like, the only way you can lose it is if you win. You'd have to win a lot going out the door. You'd have to beat Texas Tech, maybe even BYU. I mean, they may be required. One of those may be required anyways as you head out. But, you know, I like West Virginia as a tournament team, but, man, their offense is just so bad. Yeah. And I do think that we're unique enough on defense that if we got into a tournament situation, and Honor and Trey are so unique as well. Like, I think in a tournament situation, West Virginia could be tough for teams, but we got to be able to get there. Yeah. And you've set the deck against us on purpose, haven't you?
Oh, man, not intentionally.
No, but like you look at what West Virginia did yesterday. I mean, one of the worst shooting performances I've ever seen in my life. Truly. Think about this. Baylor went 1 for 13.
Man.
Or I'm sorry. I might be saying it wrong. Baylor went 7 minutes without scoring the ball. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And still stretched the lead that they had.
Man.
Like, I think they were up 4 or something.
They're
and
torn.
then they didn't score for 7 minutes, and they stretched the lead out, even though they didn't score for 7 minutes. Like, if you'd have told me that before the game, and they would have said, they're up 4, but then you hold them to a 7-minute scoreless streak, I'd say, oh, we won the game. We won the game. 7 minutes? I mean, yeah, you're up 10 now. It's what you think.
Oh, yeah.
And Huff went 1 for 13 and shot 36% at home. And now here comes Cincinnati, who on a season profile is averaging 72 points per game and only allowing 67 points per game. Another really good to elite defense. Bobby Miller, Day Thomas, Sincere Harris, Mustafa Thiam, all really good. They're built to turn bad possessions into long droughts, and they punish you on the glass. That's what they do. West Virginia should win the game. I mean, you should. But basically what people decided to do is, you know what we figured out about West Virginia is if you just deny, put 2 people on or Huff, nobody else on West Virginia's team can beat you.
No.
That's what people figured out. Trey Eaglestaff has the potential to on a really good night, but his really good nights are, if you count the whole season, few and far between. Obviously, lately he's been a lot better. Brendan Lorient can do some nice things, but does he carry you for an entire game? No. He usually gets 12 or 15 points on a really good night. Obioha completely disappears some days. It depends on the size of the other team a lot of times. And then Jasper Floyd had 25 points the first game of the year, and since then hasn't had an offensive explosion at all. And he's wide open all the time from 3 and does not pull the trigger. It's maddening for me, considering he shoots a higher percentage from 3 on fewer shots, but still. I mean, there are times where I wish Jasper would be more aggressive from 3, and he's not. So it's just for whatever reason. And then you've got Chance Moore, who can be really good, but it's like it's almost like the way this offense and this team is constructed, it's almost like a square peg in a round hole for him, because he just kind of doesn't fit sometimes for me. Sometimes he's the perfect thing they need and it works out. But other times it's like he doesn't really fit what they do as much. So I don't know, man. I know it's exactly. Somebody in the chat says, I hate when they drive the basket and then just pass it back out. They're too patient sometimes is the thing. That's the thing. They're just too patient sometimes. It's like overly patient, which is like really hard to be. But like they take these shots way late in the shot clock, which is great. You're trying to limit the possessions. I get it. But there are times where they take up rhythm, like they don't take rhythm shots that you'd think somebody would take, where they've got maybe a half a step on somebody, I don't know, man. I've not seen much like it, to be honest. It's really bad, and I don't know if I want to blame Ross Hodge yet or not, because it's year 1. Like, they're having a rough time on offense in year 1, Jackson, but I don't want to say it's something that can't be fixed yet, right? What say you?
Yeah, I mean, it's year 1, not year 5. If it's year 5, then it's a problem. When we're at year 1 as it is right now, just no worries. The best part about being down is the way to go is up.
That's right. That's a Jackson Johnson special, along with the chicken nugget.
There you go.
Let the women finish out the men's schedule. By the way, great win by the women.
Oh, yeah.
I meant to cover it. I'm going to do a big video on them in the coming days. They deserve it. I should be doing more on them, to be honest, but I get caught up doing everything else that I do, and it is what it is. But, Jackson, I appreciate you for coming on here, man. We got to run.
Well, thank you for having me on, good buddy.
Yep. Make sure you guys go follow Jackson Johnson at the Jacksonian and Locked On College Football, Locked On College Football Alabama, Locked On College Football SEC channel, all the different things that he does. He's always grateful with his time and all that. So we thank Jackson for being here. Make sure you like this video before you go. Subscribe if you're new. Go give Mr. Roberson a follow. He may be a Mountaineer soon. He's coming over in March, at least to visit and all that. So thank you guys so much, and we will be back tomorrow with more content for you. Until then, Jackson says, roll damn tide. But I don't want you to forget about, always, we got to cue those country roads.